guarding Bryant. Artest looking, gets it to Bryant. Bryant dribbling, has to put it up at the buzzer. Banks it in! He banks in the three! And the Lakers win the game!
Boom! Good morning, Insurance Syndicate members. How are we? Hope y'all are having an amazing morning. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy winning on Wednesday. I hope you guys are having an amazing start to your week. Hey, real quick, as we kind of get the show going, go ahead and drop your weekly wins in the comments as we kick off. Also, real quick, too, I just saw it for Facebook user. If you saw your name up there, go up to the description of the show, and you can click on the link to allow StreamYard to view your Facebook comments, just so that we can get you up on the show and celebrate you, as well as answer any questions that we have as we go through today's show. Obviously, you can see here I'm rolling solo today. My fearless co-host, Mr. Tony Merwin, is on the road. He is traveling out to Carson Porter's event. I believe it's in Scottsdale, I want to say. It's in Arizona, specific to life insurance agents as well as annuities. And I know Tony's going out there to really, kind of share just how you can really leverage Medicare in your life insurance business. So shout out to Tony. Appreciate you, brother. Safe travels out there. Good morning to Todd. Good morning to Miss Grace Merwin. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you, Hanky. Again, hope everybody is having an amazing week. We have an awesome show for you. I'm very excited. The gentleman that I'm going to bring on here in a second, really have had the pleasure to know him within. That's why I love the syndicate. It's why I love insurance forums, really just Facebook groups. You get to know people before you actually even meet them. So I'm excited to bring him on here in just a second. But as always, weekly win. And for me, my weekly win, me and Tony, you guys may have seen our post. We've been working on getting the studio set up. And so I just wanted to show off my new mic that we got for the studio. I'm kidding, but I am going to try and use this. Hanky gave this to me yesterday, and I thought that would be pretty funny if we just had like, hey, yeah, we've been spending all this time in the studio, and yeah, these are the mics that we're using. No, my weekly win is definitely going back to the Extreme Revolution. You guys have heard me talk about it. It's funny. It's actually how me and our guest today are even more connected and more than we were. And so obviously the 100 days, but we had some training with Andy Elliott last night, and say what you will about the man. The guy just dropped some straight up gold. It was so funny. He hopped on too. And this is what I love about, I get what we'll call leaders in general, but more so trainers and coaches, is that, hey, he gets on like, guys, I'm going to give you everything here in 30 minutes. And then we ended up going for like an hour. And it was all about how to really use YouTube the way that he's using YouTube. And if you guys, obviously, I'm assuming pretty much everybody has seen him, whether that's YouTube, Instagram Reels, or whatever. But we talked about YouTube for quite a while, and then all the other social media stuff that he's doing to really go viral, but not just go viral, right? He's got all the money that's really backing that. So shout out to Andy Elliott. That was a great training on really how to build your brand, your personal brand specifically. So with that being said, I am excited to bring on our guest again. I told you guys I got to meet him, and I'm going to go ahead and just bring him here on the show, Mr. Kody. But I got to meet him through, again, the Facebook groups. And then we're at Andy Elliott's training last month, and I'm sitting there, and I see you up on stage, and I was the first one that did the Extreme Revolution or whatever. And then I see you, and I'm like, dude, I freaking know that. More so, I knew your hat too, and your brand and your logo, man. So, dude, thank you so much for hopping on the show, man. I'm glad that we've been able to stay connected after that in-person event, and all the things that we've got going, down the road. So, just real quick, Kody, just take a second, give everybody who maybe doesn't know who Kody is just a 30,000 foot overview, and then share a weekly win with us.
Yeah, man. Again, Kody Houk. I've been an agency owner now for the last 3 years. Prime Risk Insurance Solutions out here in Arizona. We've really focused heavily on commercial the last 15 months or so, and just God, man, it's been such a freaking rocket when that move was made. Weekly win, man. Talking about personal brand. Just learning from Andy, and I get the pleasure of being here in Arizona with all those guys and get to talk to Jonathan Roberts on his team, several times a week.
Yep.
And I've really dove hard into LinkedIn and then YouTube personal brand. So just some weekly wins this week, man. I mean, I had like 60,000 impressions on LinkedIn last week, which is pretty nuts.
Son. Okay.
And then just launched my personal YouTube page this week. And I think I had, 15,000 views on some videos this week.
Wow, dude. Are those on shorts and stuff like that?
Yeah, just shorts, dude. Same stuff I kind of put on social media, just morning workout videos, sprinkle a little insurance training video here and there. But yeah, man, I mean, it's just taking some of the stuff we've learned, dude. I mean, it was pretty cool to see that.
Love that. I love that, dude. Well, kudos to freaking that many impressions on LinkedIn to just kind of get that thing going. I think a lot of people, we and me included, I mean, I sleep on LinkedIn, right? I kind of have it just to have it. But to hear numbers like that, we're going to come back to that. So guys, we'll come back to that for sure. If you guys are using LinkedIn, maybe we'll get some tips and tricks on that as well. But real quick, Kody, kind of, because obviously what you're doing now, right? And everything that you guys are rolling out with PADI, and guys, towards probably about halfway through the show, we're going to show you some really cool shit. I'll just be 100% honest, sugarcoat. I got to take a look at it last week, and it's like, my gosh, it's a godsend to so many either established or new insurance agents. So I love everything that you guys are doing there at Stratton. But let's talk about what propelled you into this position that you are in now, right? Even before the agency, really. And I always like to ask people this: what was your first job ever? Do you remember what your first job was?
Yeah, dude, I was a lifeguard at the city pool in my small town.
No way, right?
Yeah.
On, dude. I was at one point. Back after the first summer, I think I was late too many times, but okay, some long days in the sun.
Yeah.
And what was it? You said that was that in high school?
Yeah, I was 16.
Okay, well, let's start there. Take us through that, man. All right, so because for me, right, I just went to high school, I went through the motions, I went to college, but then I ended up dropping out of college to get into insurance full time. But I think a lot of people just go through that and then go to college and then somehow fall into insurance, where I was a little bit different. But kind of take us through how you got into insurance and what that looked like.
Yeah, I mean, not the typical path at all, man. All through high school, my dream was to go play baseball. I played baseball from the time I could swing a bat to, I went through, played college ball. And that was the dream, but God had other plans, and there's a rocky ass road to get there. So the college baseball thing didn't work out. Became a parent pretty young. Both of my kids are going to be 18, and I'm not going to say out of my house, but out of high school before I'm 40.
Wow.
But I mean, career path, man, I've done about every damn job you can imagine up through my 30s. I've always been in some sort of logistics type position, whether that be, store remodels. I was in trucking for a while up in the oil fields whenever everything was booming up there. Me and my dad went up there and jumped into that rush. Came back and pre-insurance, I was working in logistics for Shamrock Foods.
Okay.
And I worked for their dairy side, large dairy distributor. We had 50 something routes running a day, and that was my job to make sure all that stuff ran smooth. But I mean, here's where the entrance into insurance happened is I was commuting hour and a half each way in rush hour to get to work. My family was suffering, and one of my friends owned a captive agency, and I saw him put a job posting up that he needed a producer. So me and him went and sat and talked, and he's like, yeah, man, I'd love to hire you. He said, yeah, obviously you got to get your insurance license, and then, we'll do some training here and there. I was like, okay, I've never even looked into that before. What's it take to get an insurance license? that, well, it took me almost a year and I failed the test twice. And, so you're going to have to spend some time studying. And so I'd say probably safe bets like 6 months. I think it was 8 days later, I called him and said, hey, you ready for me to start? Because I just left and passed my test. So put my 2 weeks in, went and jumped into that, man. I mean, honestly, as far as setting me up for success in this industry, I don't think I could have been put in a better position. I started exclusively in personal lines, and the selling system that he had there, I mean, it was such a consultative selling approach, and set the standard for where I am now in identifying your ideal client and understanding what you're good at and the value that you bring from an advisory standpoint. We were in a real high net worth community in his agency. So, I mean, the stars just aligned there for a real solid foundation in this industry. Mm-hmm. Did really well. I mean, sold life insurance like crazy. Obviously, that's a big captive focus. But ultimately realized that I wasn't going to make near the money that I wanted to make without my name being on the door somewhere, especially in that captive culture.
Right.
So actually got tired of it and left the industry again and got into consulting. And my job was to go and help people improve their sales teams and processes at that point. Wasn't doing anything on the insurance side. We worked with some construction companies. We worked in medical a little bit, but we were really heavy in the personal development space. Real cool experience there. Made another jump and ended up going back into a transportation. I was kind of the fractional COO of a company. And when I came in, that company they had done about 2 million, and margins in trucking are slim, man. But they had done about
even more so today. Yeah.
They had done a little over 2 million that year prior to me being there, and they ran at about 10-11% margin on that. After 12 months of me being there, we did 4.7, and we were up to a 22% profit margin on that. It's just really always been a strength of mine, man, as I can come in and see where the holes are and help you fill them and put the people in the right seats that they need to be in, and really just help things run more efficiently. It's really where I've thrived in those roles throughout my career.
It's so good, dude.
The end of my contract was coming up there, and I was thinking, what am I going to do next? And there was a small indie agency here in Arizona that they were looking for an agency manager. Like, well, not quite sure I'm qualified for that, being I've never been on the independent side before, never managed an insurance agency before, but I'll throw my name in the hat and see what happens. So I ended up getting that position. Did really well there. We were in 4 states. I managed 2 of the states, and the owner of the agency managed the other 2 states. My 2 states were doing pretty damn well, but then COVID happened. Everybody freaked out, and he called me one day and said, dude, I just lost 60% of my Colorado book in the last 2 months.
Wow.
So I can't afford to pay you anymore. You can stay here on commission only sales, or you can just go. So I was like, you know what, dude, screw this. If I'm going to sell, I'm putting my name on a door somewhere.
Right.
But things were crazy at that point too, right? Like, I had no idea how to start an agency, no idea what that path was going to be. We've had up and down financial struggles throughout our life. And at that point, dude, I'm talking 3 years ago, I had $200 in the bank the day that I opened my agency.
Wow.
I had no idea no idea what I was doing. So signed up with an aggregator that had no startup fees. Ended up finding there's a crap contract and got out of that as quick as I could, but it helped me get going.
Right.
And just went through. I've 3 years. I've fought the fight that I think all of us go through and trying to figure this damn thing out when you're coming in from scratch. Spent a lot of money on coaching, which has been the godsend for me. lot of advice on branding. I've rebranded 3 times to get to where I am now and actually have a brand that people know. But and
Love
then
that,
bootstrapping it, man. I mean, I was selling 6 months out of the year, and then I've been guiding hunts professionally 6 months out of the year to pay the agency bills and pay for marketing and pay for lead gen, and just grinding it out, man. And now I got home from my last guided trip last February, started really going hard on this with the commercial focus in March. And from March 1 to March 1, I'm going to do about 140 to 150 in new business revenue.
Come on, bro.
12-month stretch.
Come on, man.
So, I mean, it's just being in a place of, hey, you know, we finally feel like I figured this thing out a little bit, and coupling that with my background that I've had in having that strength of helping people fill holes, and the desire that, you know, a lot of people can misread us both in this industry, on the consulting side, everywhere, right? I think that it's just a money grab.
Right.
How many times being in insurance sales do you get, not to even bash their career, but do you get compared to the used car salesman, right? We get stuck with that label.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, my desire, my deepest desire in my heart is to help people get better. Every agent listening to this call, like, if you're not doing producing 6 figures new business revenue a year, I just want to help. I want to see you win. That's it. That's where my heart is, man. I love seeing people win. I heard in the intro, man, it's all collaboration. There's no competition. There's plenty for all of us. And that's just what I'm about, man. I want to see everybody win.
I love that, dude. I think, you know, real quick, Victor, I see you. Victor says everyone needs to connect with Kody. He's always been one of the realest since we met a few years ago. And, you know, I've known Kody for way less than a few years, and I can already 100% attest to that as well. And I'm a good read of character, y'all. Yeah, man, that's awesome, dude. And so I actually want to go back to, because we've actually had some similar guests to you. It's funny. It was Victor too, where it's like, man, it's going to be, you know, baseball, like pro ball, right? Like that was always a thing. And then, you know, whatever that injury or whatever it might be, you know, what was your mindset when it's like, man, I went through college and like this was going to be the thing? What was your mindset? And really, how did you overcome it? Because I'm sure it wasn't a necessarily positive mindset to direct, like completely and totally 180 it, like, okay, I've spent years and years and hours and blood, sweat, and tears into this thing. And I played some college sports before I got out too. So I know what that is on top of just a high school level. I mean, it's like you dedicate freaking everything to that, right? As a student athlete. What was your mindset when basically that career shift happened? And then how did you, you know, overcome that what we'll call adversity? Because I'm sure it felt like that at the time, where it's like, dude, what? Like, I'm really not going to do, or like what? Explain some of that, because I just want to go back to that, because it's like that's got to be a big mental shift, but ultimately it propelled you to where you are today. And I think there's so many instances like that. And again, I know that's specific to your story and your testimony, but things like that in this industry that agents will get slapped in the face, we'll call it, right? And then they don't ever overcome it, right? Or they don't see it as, man, I need to pivot, right? This is actually just a stepping stone to what I'm actually called to do. So what was that mindset, and how did you overcome that? Because obviously you're big into the mindset, into the mental coaching, you know, all that good stuff. Walk us through that a little bit.
Oh, bro. So this is about to get a lot deeper than I thought we were going to get, but
Let's go.
Set this up and we got to go.
I love it.
So that whole time period from the end of my senior year of high school through the couple of years that I played college ball, and seeing that come to an end, I ended up addicted to drugs.
Wow.
I ended up a cocaine addict for a little over 10 years. Just wreaked havoc through my life. I mean, I was able to survive, find ways to provide for my family. But it was an escape reality and a major addiction that controlled my life for, like I said, 10 years. Ultimately came to a heat at, 28? When I tried to overdose. I was my wife and I were splitting up. I was living with my parents. Everything was just a mess. And I remember praying a couple days before, saying, you know, God, you either got to take this from me or I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I don't want this life anymore. So it wasn't happening. My wife said she was leaving me. Had nothing, no positive in life that I could see to keep going. Decided I was going to overdose and attempted, and God opened my eyes the next day, man. And just, not to get too crazy, but I'm a miracle story. I mean, from that morning, I've never even had the urge anything to use drugs again. And that was 8.5 years ago.
Yeah.
So it wasn't this big mental toughness, strength. I'm going to push through this and find a way battle, man. I mean, I had given in. I had given in. If it wasn't for God saving me from that, man, I wouldn't be here today. So all glory to him. That's all I can say there.
Dude, thank you so much for your vulnerability. We have people in the comments saying, I know that all too well. And again, thank you for your vulnerability and your honesty, man. Because I think a lot of the times it's the preaching of, you just got to overcome, right? And I think there's so many of us. Remove insurance, right? Let's just go like in this country, hell, in the world, right? That have those moments, right? In that time period of they didn't overcome. And I think it was funny. We were just watching, oh man, who was it? It was David Goggins, and he talks about like how like these words of like, motivation and positivity are like they're watered down because so many people sit there and talk about it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it's like, and there's a lot of people that, hey, there's two sides to every coin, right? Yeah. So, dude, thank you for your vulnerability and honesty. I really appreciate that. And I know that that's speaking to people that are on this show and then also, catching the replay, man. So yeah. I appreciate that.
It's funny, man. I mean, I can come into completely unrelated conversations that I just think there's no way we're going to go down that road. And that's always where God wants it to go, man. And I agree. There's someone in this room that needed to hear that story. And, I've been blessed that even leading up to this role, like I've had the opportunity to speak at men's conferences of 2,000 people. I've led recovery ministries and churches across the state of Arizona.
Amazing.
There's no shame in my story. It's all God. It's all a testimony of what he can do. And it's what he's called me to do with that story, is to help pull people from that. So that's where my heart is, man. And honestly, where it lies, transitioning into where I am now. And it just, he ties it all together.
Right. It's your test become your testimony, man. I remember I got to see Ed Milet at 8% at Kody Houk a couple years ago. And he talked about how so many people don't share stories like that, or maybe reach out because they feel as though they're underqualified, yet they're the only ones qualified to actually lead those types of ministries or that type of conference or whatever that might be. It's like, no, you're actually the one that's most qualified, right? Because of your test, right? That you've been able to experience and work through. But then again, ultimately for you, there was something there, right? To where, again, you were propelled into, again, what you were called to do, which was greatness, into this miracle working, as we'll call it, right? Dude, that's so powerful, man. I love that. Thank you so much for saying that. I wanted to go to this real quick. So you're talking about logistics, right?
Yep.
And then so then you were in logistics, then you were in sales, right? And then you brought up the word of you bring value as an advisor. And then you went to consulting and development, right? Because you're really good at but I want to start with the logistics. Do you think the logistics and how you were running those companies or running those trucks, those routes or whatever that was, do you think that had a huge part when it comes to the management style of you, when it comes to, again, maybe managing a sales team or how you manage your book of clients when it comes to sales? Maybe speak to that a little bit.
Dude, it's just, it's always been the way I've been wired. Like, somebody can come to me and say, hey, I've got this problem and I can't figure out the best way to do it. And I just look at it and can find how to get it done. That really helps strengthen that, because again, we'd had 50, 60 trucks running a day all across the state of Arizona. And
wild, right?
I mean, our job is in that role is to reduce overhead, try to make those trucks as profitable as possible, or run as efficient as possible. So we're constantly moving routes all the time, moving stops from here to there. And that pretty much became my job, was to rebuild those routes. And it was,
isn't that so applicable to how you run an agency though?
1,000,000%, dude. Like, everything has prepared me for,
right.
I've been harping on that so much the last couple of weeks as things have been progressing, man. Like, just looking at every place, every step that I've taken throughout the last 10, 15 years has prepared me for where I am today. And this is going to prepare me for something else.
Right. And what's really cool is that when you go through that for the past 15 years, again, kind of like it goes back to now you can help other agents be prepared and maybe not go through those last 15 years, right? I know that's where obviously you and me connect a lot, where it's like, man, like, gosh, if I knew what I did when I got in, right? Like, it's like, man, but that's also my heart, and why I love doing shows like this, and just really even just running the group, or hell, just anything that I really do within the industry, man. I love to give that back.
Yeah.
Because same for me, man. I remember when I first started, and it was like, and I had probably $200. Hell, I might have had less than that. Because again, I was in the captive space building up other agencies. And then when we started Redwood, it was, dude, I have no freaking clue what I'm doing. I have no idea which way to send the truck, right? Hell, we couldn't even get our phones to work on the first. We had House of Dreams. That was about all we had, was solid foundation, right? We know what we're trying to do. Outside of that, pretty much nothing other than, hey, we've just got to figure it out and work it out, right? And I think that's, again, all those years of, us just trial and error, right? And facing adversity, and sometimes having to admit that, okay, yep, I effed that up, right? But then we just have to pivot. Okay, I love that, dude. So let's go to when you're talking about seeing the gaps, right, in an agency. And then you started the show with, dude, we had a rocket switch to commercial, right? And I think that's probably because you were able to diagnose maybe a gap, right? Or again, a more efficient way to be able to run your agency, which is how you've been able to generate six-figure in revenue in less than 12 months, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome, especially because of how quick you were able to do it. And as pretty much a one-man show, right? So it's like, dude, that's amazing work to you. What was it? What was the switch? What was the, like, okay, hey, boom, as soon as I move this to the commercial, like, talk a little bit about why you made that switch to the commercial side and how you're able to find success. And then maybe sprinkle in some of that LinkedIn stuff as well, maybe your YouTube, and how you're going to use that to continue to propel that side of things.
Yeah. So, I mean, the switch was kind of a two-pronged thing, man. One, I got bored selling home and auto insurance. But at the same time, I kind of foresaw what we're seeing now, right? I saw where the personal lines market was going. And I saw the challenges that were going to come there, and just decided, you know what? I don't see that same challenge on the commercial line side. And we're in an industry full of a lot of mediocre people. Let's be real. Like,
right.
I've heard a lot of other people say it. C players in our industry can make a damn good living.
Right.
So if you're willing to go up and above and educate yourself and really provide that next level customer experience for your clients, you're going to stand out.
Mm-hmm.
So I invested heavily in that going into it. I'm part of other coaching programs. I'm part of Carruthers Killing Commercial program. And I took a ton of education out of that. But not to transition too early, but getting connected with Mick and starting to learn the practical side of how to go in and conduct a new business meeting on a $25,000 revenue account, right?
Right.
How to really dial in the expert, the niches that I want to become that expert in. And then getting connected with the right networks in my local area to help that happen.
Oh, right? You guys hearing that? Connecting with the right network of people in your area, in your community. I think we've heard that one before.
So a lot of my business, man, has come from that. I've got 3 different business coaches, and I pay all of them 5 figures every year.
Come on.
And one of them, I've got a marketing coach. I've got an insurance, nuts and bolts coach, which has been Mick. And then I've got just a general business coach. And my business coach is local here in Arizona. And you know what he does? He owns a roofing company that is doing $15 million a year in sales. But you know what he also does? He runs a contractor mastermind.
Wow.
Guess who went and cut a check to be part of his mastermind, even though I'm not a contractor? Because you know who I sell to? I sell to contractors.
Yep.
So I just went and crashed his party one day. Just showed up to one of his events, and then we've developed a friendship and stuff outside of the coaching relationship and things, man. But having that level of accountability in my life here on a local level, and you know, he sits front stage at all Andy Elliott's events, and you know, goes to Steuben's events out there in Texas, and he subscribes to this mindset, this culture that you and I are both ingraining ourselves in, right? Like, it's just another guy that's there leading me down that road, and also building that relationship with him as that niche expert in the contracting space.
Right.
Now, if he comes across people who need help, I mean, he just referred me a $6,000 roofing account the other day.
Yeah. Just like boom, like that. And so hold on, let's stay here though. Because I think a lot of people will pay for coaching and then they'll never go crash that mastermind, even though they know that it could, you know, drive this type of relationship and this type of revenue in this a period of time, right?
Yep.
And all it took was really just, okay, screw it. It's going to be really uncomfortable. You guys hear me saying that word uncomfortable. Typically, if it's another thing that we were listening to from God, hey, if it's uncomfortable, it's probably the right place to go, right? For a new agent, right, that is struggling with, okay, I know they have the roadmap. And even if you've paid for a coach or not, guys, we have the roadmap due to what we have at our fingertips via Google, YouTube, the internet, you name it, right? You have the roadmap. You have shows like this that we're reiterating these things because we don't want you to do it the trial and error route, right? So for a new agent that is struggling with, we'll call it going to disrupt or break up that mastermind, what is one thing that you would tell them? Right? Like here's how to prepare for, or I guess, well, maybe that's it. Prepare, right? Or what is it that was like, you know what, dude, I'm going to go do this.
You know, the thing that shifted for me quickly in that, man, is I went there with selfish intent, right? I'm going to let everybody know who I am, what I do, and I'm going to write business out of this thing. And the one I ended up in particular, in the bulk of networking events of any type that I go to, people gravitate to people who are just willing to provide value and expect nothing in return. So yeah, we might join these groups with the intent of writing business, but you need to go in with the mindset of, even if I don't write a single piece of business out of this event, I'm going to provide value to these guys in one way or another.
Right. Right. That's good. Because that's actually really good. Because I think some people go in without the intent of which, again, it's okay, guys, to go in with the intent of, I'm going to go get business out of this. Right. But I think a lot of people actually don't even go in with that intent, right? Or intent. Yeah. And then they just go burn like a day of their freaking job, right? Or what they could be doing in the office, or hitting the phones, or maybe hitting another event, whatever it is, right? Because their intent isn't even to go and write business. You should 100% provide value, right? And educate and all those things that we all know, right? But if you're not going in with the intent and the assumption of the sale, kind of takes away from the whole point of going, doesn't it? So I love that you said that.
And the other thing I got to harp on this, like I've experienced some quick success in this. I mean, after 30 days of being there, I sponsored one of the mastermind events that we had and ended up next to a contractor that's now my largest client.
Yep.
But these things take time. You're not just going to show up to one of these things and walk out with 6 accounts. You're going to have to take the time to build relationships with people and show them that you're there to build value or to bring value. And, you know, again, when you position yourself and it kind of transitioning to social media a little bit, I don't post workout videos online because I'm ripped and in shape, and I'm far from it. I mean, Andy's pushed me a lot this year. My coach has pushed me a lot this year, and I'm down almost 40 pounds in the last 6 months.
Let's
which
go.
has also made a huge impact on my business and my personal discipline. But it's subscribing to that, to what Andy says, right? When people see you committed to your personal development, they know that you're going to take care of them as a client as well. If they see you walking around overweight, sloppy, 3 cheeseburgers in your hands, like, if you're not taking care of yourself, your clients aren't going to have that confidence you're going to take care of them either. And my coach here told me that about 30 days into working with him. He said, Kody, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. The shape you're in right now and the way you carry yourself, I wouldn't feel comfortable referring you to anyone substantial.
Wow.
And I'm just
And
being
that's
real
hard.
with
And
you.
that's a hard pill to swallow, ain't it?
But you know what? A lot of people would have taken that and been like, you know what? Fuck you. Like,
Right.
kick rocks. But having that humility in yourself to understand, like, he's pointing out a blind spot that I have and something that's going to drastically improve my life and my business. Like, he's doing this from a place of caring and wanting to see me grow.
Right.
And that's, I think that's where I'm at now that I haven't been in the past. A lot of times in the past, I probably would have gotten defensive in that place. But being in a mindset now that I'm surrounded by people that I know have the same mindset and of growth and want to see people win, I know if someone comes at me like that, it's because they want me to get better.
There you go. You guys heard it again. It's literally everything that I preach on our House of Dreams. It's that tribe of people, right, that you have in your corner that you're willing to be checked and you're willing to receive, what they're checking you on. I think that's so powerful, man. Before we get into PADI, I did want to kind of talk well, actually, here's one last question on the, breaking up the event, we'll call it, right? Or crashing it. How did you, because I think how did you even know which event how'd you find the event? It's probably more simple than anybody thinks, but how did you even find the event or events maybe that you attend?
Just scrolling through Facebook. I mean, connecting with people that I see are influential in the community.
Yep.
You were wanting to touch on LinkedIn a little bit before we jumped into PADI too. I mean, it's the same.
Let's go right there. Yeah.
That's the same LinkedIn strategy. Like, I don't go in there. I rarely ever put any kind of call to action on any of my LinkedIn posts. It's value, 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 value. I'll connect with prospects, and that's where LinkedIn has gotten its ass kicked. I think the last couple of years is all the spam bots and all the automation and all of that. Like, that's why people hate LinkedIn, because you accept a connection with somebody and immediately there's a message in your box.
Hey, Joe, are you in insurance? I'm like, did you even look at my profile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's taken that approach of just, hey, I'm happy to connect with you. Looking forward to sharing some things back and forth. Really looking forward to seeing where your business is going. And then having that system of keeping in contact, right? Like, especially your top 25 prospects you're going to connect with. Don't ever send them the thing of, I'd love to quote your business this year. We'd love to take a look at your account. Just go find something in the news that's relevant to their industry. Hey guys, I came across this. I see that you guys are in the same industry. Just wanted to shoot this over to you. If it's got any impact on you, I hope it helps. Just constantly being a center of value for people there. And then again, never making a salesy type post.
Right
there. That last week when I had 60,000 impressions, there was a couple videos I had put up. One of them was a damn workout video. Figured I'd test that on LinkedIn and see how it went. And it actually did okay. And then, the writing articles on there, I think it's a sleeper. Yeah. LinkedIn's it's like any other social platform. LinkedIn is wanting to keep people on LinkedIn. So rather than posting a blog post from your website, which, may help your SEO a little bit, if people aren't going to see that regularly, I mean, I write an article on LinkedIn and it gets 2,000 impressions. I don't think there are very few people who are going to get 2,000 hits in 24 hours on a blog on their website.
Right.
So leveraging the tools that they give you for exposure, man. I mean, it's huge.
Yep. And guess how you guys can learn how to do that too? It's all at your fingertips, right? I mean, it really is. Or test, like we said, test the waters. So many people won't even test it to see if it even works or not, just based off of either assumptions or mediocrity or laziness, right? You talked about that earlier. I mean, the benchmark of where our industry is at, right, and what we're ultimately trying to change, specific. I mean, it's one of our MOs at Syndicate, right? It's like, let's bring that benchmark up, man. Yeah. And like a lot of that is just being prepared and educating yourself, right? Which I think that's, we've been talking a lot about, efficiency and being value driven, right? And there is value in being an advisor, y'all. Mm-hmm. Like we were just having that conversation in here yesterday where it's like, dude, look, like you are the advisor, right? And there is value in that. And it's like, you don't ever want to you don't want to stoop down to the potential clientele level, right? You have so much value as their advisor. And I don't care whether you're in property and casualty, life and health, anything like that. But a lot of that value comes from education. It comes from preparedness, right? It really just comes from a lot of this stuff is you don't know what you don't know until you do, right? And that's, I think, what Kody is now partnered with and what he's really trying to roll out. And we've got a pretty cool, deal for you guys as well, syndicate members. But I'm going to kind of let Kody just talk about kind of one of his new roles and what he's doing. And really, I call it the marketplace, but really, I mean, it's something that I truly believe is going to change. And honestly, even established agency that maybe doesn't have all of this stuff, right? It's more of, hey, I've just been doing it for so long. So then I kind of just know it off the top of my head. Well, how are you going to hire somebody, right? You're just going to have them sit with you for 2 months and then listen to you. And then hopefully they write down and take notes, whatever. I think, again, what you guys are doing is really going to help revolutionize, again, I think that it's going to raise the benchmark of what our advisors look like in this industry. And I don't mean that lightly. Like, I've checked everything out last week. But again, Kody, I'm gonna let you kind of take it over again. If you want to share anything, if you want to show anybody the platform, you can. That or just talk about what you guys are doing there with PADI. The floor is yours, man. And I just kind of want to wrap up with that. And guys, Lily, if you want, go ahead and drop that link in the comments just to start, and then I'll have you drop it in there again as Kody walks through everything that PADI is.
No, I appreciate that, Joe. So guys, that Lily just dropped that link down there. That's a special deal to get in with PADI if you guys want to come on board and check out what we have going on. But I'm sure at least a few of you on this call are familiar with the CEO of our company and our larger faction of our company, Premier Strategy Box. Our CEO is Mick Hunt. Just Joe, Mick. I'm sure Victor knows Mick. I mean, just next level in this industry. Mick is the man for processes, systems, training, the nuts and bolts of insurance. Like, again, getting connected with him and his coaching program was a huge jumpstart for me this year. But I'm gonna pull PADI over here and show everybody.
Sweet.
This is gonna work right. Let's see. Sorry, I've never used your StreamYard here before. I'm trying to figure out which one's going to let me. Nope, that's
present.
not it.
If you do present, and then do share screen.
There.
Yeah.
Where's the tab? Sorry for the delay here, guys.
Yeah, man, no worries.
Oh, you know what? I'll probably just go ahead and pull it up in this window. That works. This is my agency deal and everything's here. So
there it is.
All right. Everybody can see the screen now.
Yep.
I lost sight of all you, but that's okay. So here's what we've got going on here, guys. Here's the Premier Agency Development Institute, or as you'll hear it referred to as PADI. This is just next level for everything I believe that the industry's been missing. As I mentioned before, the roadblock that we're seeing with most agencies, especially ones now that are wanting to transition over to commercial, is where do I even start? My producers don't even have the education to have a conversation around commercial insurance other than what's your business name, what's your revenue, what's your EIN, what's your payroll. They may or may not even know where to go get class codes, We wanted to bring that all together in one practical platform where if you wanted to start selling commercial insurance tomorrow, you have the ability to do that. So what that's going to look like is these are all of our different, what we call lounges for every role within the agency. We have our agency principal mastermind, which we have some of the largest agencies in the country part of our program. And all of the agency principals exclusively have mastermind sessions together where everyone comes. Typically, we try to do those once a month. and everyone comes in, they'll lay out their problems they're facing, and everyone in this group is an open book, man. I mean, nothing's held back. Collaboration is the name of the game here. And if you've got a problem, they'll open the book and tell you exactly how they did it. Agency Ops Lounge. This is going to be geared towards if you've got an operations manager in the agency, or even the principal, if that's the role that they're sitting in, the trainings are going to be here. So we've got Q1 pretty much built out. We have a time management, which we've been doing this privately with some of the groups that we have enrolled in PADI right now. But this is going to teach you how to manage your calendar, how to triage your day, really become more efficient in the way that you can write business and giving yourself time to do so. This is where
so much bigger than people give credit to is really mastering your schedule and your calendar too.
Oh,
love that,
dude. But my coach here, Jaycen, really pushes that if you don't manage your calendar is going to manage you, and white space on your calendar is just space for mayhem to happen. So that's really how we help people lay out their days so they're intentionally getting through it and can get, what would normally take them. I just had this conversation with somebody the other day. They said, what do you think when somebody comes in and tells you they can get 6 hours of work done in 2 hours? Well, the way that people work today, I don't see that really being a problem, because how many times do you work on something for 10 minutes, pick up your phone, scroll Facebook for 10 or 15 minutes, go screw around on LinkedIn, maybe go watch a YouTube video, run to the bathroom, grab some water, come back, work another 10 or 15 minutes and go do it all over again. Right. So our sales producer lounge, this is where I live. And these are the types of trainings. We just got through our first session with the new group that came in, which was why have a sales system. And this is really me and Mick sitting down, and Mike Taylor, who's another one of our sales trainers. Mike worked for Mick in his agency before he sold, and the year before Mick sold, Mike did $250,000 in new business revenue as a commercial producer. So, I mean, collectively between our sales trainers in this group, we're doing, I think we looked at it the other day, around $850,000 a year in new business revenue on the commercial side.
Let's go.
So you're learning. This isn't somebody who just jumped out of the industry and decided to go create a coaching program, guys. Like, you're learning from people who have done it, who have had 8-figure exits, who are still doing it, right? So it's a little bit different than some of the other things that you might see thrown.
That's I hope you guys heard that, because that's a really important point. It's people that are still doing it, right? A training on something like this, maybe even from a year ago, is already outdated because of how this industry has changed, right? So it's like people that are in the trenches, still building, still doing this thing, I think that's a keynote, man.
And that's everyone in our company. So even those that don't directly own an agency anymore, on our consulting side with Premier Strategy Box, we will come into an agency and assume the role as the sales manager. So we're still working in that agency with the producers every week. When Mick is working on the RevOps side, he's doing the same thing with the agency principals and the ops team. When Darius is working on agency ops and going through and helping you customize your CRM flows based on your agency processes, he's hands-on in there with you for at least 90 days. I mean, we're in agencies every day. So this is the trainings there. These are all live trainings, by the way. They're all scheduled out. We're leading these live. They're mastermind type discussions around these different topics that are all part of our sales system, which, I mean, ideal clients and prospecting. This is the one that really helped me go to the next level this year, was learning who it was that I actually wanted to sell to, setting that minimum expectation that I'm not going to prospect on an account unless I know that it's going to bring me $2,500 or more in revenue. And developing my ideal clients that are contractors that are doing a minimum of $3 million a year in revenue, that have at least 10 employees, that preferably have an EMOD over 1, because now I can go in and use some of the resources I have available to help them improve their safety system within the business and start to lower that EMOD and lower the work comp costs. That's how you build out an ideal client profile.
Can you guys tell he knows what he's talking about?
So this is huge for our producers, account managers, man. We just brought on, I'm sure all of you guys are familiar with Ryan Hanley. His agency manager now works with us, and she does all of the account manager training.
Love it. If you guys don't know who Ryan Hanley is, you may potentially be living under a rock in insurance, but
go check out his podcast, Finding Peak. Ryan's a damn good dude and will help you grow tremendously. But again, live trainings on time management, hard market conversations, upfront agreements. This is where even during the renewal process, as part of that cycle, right, you're taking control of that situation. And before you ever go back to market, if you're remarketing an account or even enter into your true renewal process, you've already set the stage that that customer is doing business with you again.
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting that done up front. Stewardship reporting. A lot of people have heard that. They have no damn idea what it is. And I'll actually show you guys that here in a minute. So those are all of our live sales trainings. We have on-demand stuff. If you've got a new producer coming into your agency that has never done sales before, or at least in the insurance space, these are all self-paced courses that they can go through, and you can actually put them through our Sales Foundations course for them to actually learn sales skills. Soft skills, one thing that is a huge, huge hole that people have to fill. Coming into the insurance industry, I'm sure you guys know, if you're positioning yourself in that advisor role, it's not a jam your product and processes down people's throat. You got to learn how to communicate with people and listen and understand the things that they're actually saying, right? What's also going to be coming here, which this doesn't show on my personal account, it's in my admin account, but we're building out our commercial foundations course that will essentially be the CLCS light version, right? Which is a designation you can get as a commercial lines coverage specialist. We're building
just
that.
Talking about that yesterday.
We're building that out, and it's included in every PADI membership once it's done. And it's going to be another self-paced course that we're going to run from everything from your GL policy to IM to auto, all the way through cyber and D&O. Every line of coverage you can sell, we're going to have a course on it.
Love it.
Now, here's where this changes the game, guys. Okay, we're doing coaching, we're having strategy sessions. How do I do this stuff practically, right? How do I know how to go in and run my first meeting? Well, what you do is, if you are prospecting contractors,
pay attention here, guys. This is big.
If you're prospecting contractors, we've got a playbook for you. From the time you want to start prospecting contractors, we've built out how to build that ideal client for you to know who to start prospecting is portion one of this. Okay, I know who I want to prospect. I've got an appointment. Now, what the hell do I do in the appointment? Well, you take this in with you. Come on down here. Well,
do you see? You may need to share the screen. Did it pop open to a new tab?
Oh, yep. Get back to it.
It's good stuff. I freaking love this, man.
All right, here we go. I'll start back at the top.
Yep. There we go.
Artist and contractor playbook. This is where you go through the top portion of the playbook and build out exactly who your ideal client is, what your marketing message is going to be, what your elevator pitch is going to be, objections you may come up against. That's where you start to build your prospecting profile. Now you have a meeting. Here's where my biggest hitch was. I could get in front of people, but I had no damn idea how to run a first meeting with them, right? Well, guess what? You carry this into the meeting with you. And now you've got the entire sales process laid out for you to ask the client or prospect as you're sitting there with them. What led you to choose your current insurance provider? What do you appreciate most of the relationship? What do you wish the current agent could improve on? You're starting to go through that process of gathering the information that you need to, one, identify if there even is a wedge there. And we can talk about that at a different time of when to break up early and not break up happy homes. But it's going to help you identify if the wedges exist, right? So I won't go through all of these, but what specific concerns do you have about risk associated with your business? What are your long-term goals? You're positioning yourself as an advisor, not someone there to just sell them an insurance policy. Okay. Now you're setting up your pre-close. This is where we talk about, okay, we've identified pain. We feel we can solve your pain. If I can do that at a reasonable price and within your budget, do you feel comfortable moving forward with us as your new insurance provider? You're getting an agreement based on the pain you've identified, not on the quote process. So now you come back with your presentation. All you got to do is get a check. But here's where this gets even more awesome. We'll keep going through this. These risk assessments are phenomenal. And as you do more and more of these, this is where you start to turn into that niche professional and expert. So it's got all the basic questions that you need to start for the quote, but we've actually worked with carriers to get these approved to send in with your submission for them to evaluate these for all of the potential credits that they can offer you on this policy and the quote. So you've got your general risk assessment. What's the typical size and value of projects? Where are they located? You've got all your property questions. You've got all your inland marine questions. Coming back to the GL, here's where you start to go through and ask the questions on safety measures so you can get those safety credits. Here's the PL if you're working with a contractor that needs PL, which most of them do. Mm-hmm. Your commercial auto, your work comp, your umbrella, it's all there for you. Now, you get into business continuation plans. Again, just positioning yourself as an advisor. I'm not here to sell you a policy. I'm here to help you with your business.
Right.
So we get through all of that, and then we've got some potential exposures, insurance needs. Again, the basics of learning how to become a niche expert for whatever industry you want to write. And then we've also thrown in your class codes, because that's a huge hiccup for a lot of people, is they don't know what the codes are. They might think that it fits into this code, but it really goes in this code. So you've got the code as well as description of operations that tell you, okay, if they do this, they actually fit in this code. So I'm going to go back to, what did that do right there? Am I back to you?
Yep. And then just go back to PADI.
So I know we've only got a few more minutes, but
you're good, man. This is gold.
I'll just run through. So that's our contractor's playbook. But as you guys can see here, we've got a general business that if you do decide you just want to be a generalist, you've got that there. But we've got artisan contractors. Assisted living is a big one. Auto services, I'm sure, is huge for a lot of you guys. Distribution for you guys that do farm and ag. We've got, or want to do farm and ag. We've got that. Hab and lesser's risk is there. Healthcare is a huge one. Home health is one I see in the groups all the time. Nobody knows what the hell to do when it comes to home health.
Right.
Manufacturing, we've got marijuana dispensaries. Nonprofits is a big one I see. And Joe, when I showed you this, you kind of got off on it. We got the trucker's playbook in there.
That's my transportation, baby. You know me.
So guys, this is all included in an agency membership with PADI. So not only are we going to teach you how to sell it, right? We're also going to give you everything you need to retain it. Your stewardship reports are your retention tool that you use at come renewal time for you to, again, have your account manager walk through that process, positioning you guys as an advisor to retain those accounts. So we've got sell and retain. We've got personal lines playbooks. If you guys are personal lines focused, you can do the same thing there. We've built it all out. Send it with your producer. Revamp the sales process within your agency on the personal line side. Start to sell more lines of business and retain that business. Your renewal process. If you don't have a true renewal process, we can help you with it. We can help you with your client tiering, which is huge and something that we teach and really advocate for. You need to determine, like, your $500 BOPs are going to fall in a class A renewal process, right? It's not profitable for your agency to touch every one of those accounts at renewal. Those need to be on an automation process. If they don't even have the potential to grow into a higher revenue account, they need to have a DNR. If they decide to leave, they're probably costing you money being a client, if we're being truthful. Right. If you're selling a $500 BOP, your agency might be making $75 on that. If they make 3 phone calls to your agency throughout the year, you've lost money.
Yep. And that's such good perspective there.
So then you're double A. Now you start tiering these, right? Maybe your class A's are your $500 or less revenue accounts. Your double A's, now we're talking, $5,000 or less accounts that they'll get a personal touch. They'll get a renewal meeting with you for you to retain that business. Let them know that you're in control of the renewal process. If you're going to remarket, you can visit that at that point. That communication process is typically starting up, 90 to 120 days out. Then you've got your VIPs, your gold level clients that you just don't want anyone to ever even have an opportunity to touch. we're building out where this communication process is starting mid-year, 6 months from renewal. You're already preparing them for when their EMOD's going to drop in month 5. And then you're going to have a meeting around that EMOD month 4. And then you're going to have that renewal strategy meeting because you know you should be receiving the renewal offer the following month. And then you can determine whether or not you're going to remarket, if they're in the best place, have your cross sells if those are available. Your VIP renewal process is where you make your money.
So good.
And that's all built out there for you guys. I mean, it's nothing that we've held back on. Every one of us use these renewal processes in our agencies. I mean, Mick in 3 years was up to $3.5 million of revenue in his agency. And this is exactly what he did to get there.
So good, dude. So good. Well, let me go ahead and bring you back on here. Lily, if you could, just one more time, go ahead and drop that link in the comments. You guys saw that. We already got Brian's already joining. And I love that, right? When you see stuff like that, y'all, you may want to just pull the trigger and take action. And again, you guys you'll have a special package there by using that syndicate link that Kody was, willing to work out with us. And real quick too here, before we wrap up the show, I want to give a quick shout out. You can see the Lily dropping the comments in there. And then obviously the overlay of the show is Viva Virtual Solutions. So I got to give a shout out to our main sponsor of Winning on Wednesday, Viva Virtual Solutions. You name what a virtual assistant could potentially do. I bet you they got it. Whether it's specializations or people that can help with your back office service, or somebody like Lily Davis, our producer of the show, who again takes all of our raw video, puts it out on YouTube, uses AI to create shorts, created our TikTok and Instagram. I mean, she's amazing. So I got to give a shout out to Rob Lopez and Viva Virtual Solutions. We appreciate your sponsorship. And with that being said, man, Kody, man, dude, just give them, I guess, what's next on the horizon with Kody, and how can they reach out? Obviously, they've got the link for PADI to check all that out. But just what's next on the horizon for you? Give them one last little bit, and then how can they reach out?
Yeah, real quick, man. I mean, Brian hit it kind of the nail on the head there. I'll make that a little more practical, guys. Our price for PADI deal that we've worked out for you guys is $179 a month, and that is for your entire agency. That's not per person in your agency. Your entire agency gets to enroll in the program, get coaching from all of our coaches, the masterminds, the playbooks, everything at $179 a month. You're talking, you need to write a $1,200 premium account to pay for your PADI subscription. I can damn near guarantee you're going to write 10 times that just by using the resources that we're giving you in PADI. But Brian, thank you for bringing that up, man. I mean, it truly is a game changer, and that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to make this accessible for everyone, from the one-man shop that needs to boost their revenue to the 50-person mega agency. It's all there, and I mean, I think it's just going to help skyrocket you guys that are trying to make this thing happen. For me, man, I mean, we have a ton on the horizon. I'm doing a lot on the PADI side right now, leading our live trainings, helping develop a lot of things we talked about today that we don't actually have in PADI right now, helping build that stuff out. We're building a team there. I mean, we've got a team already, but we're growing so fast. We need to bring on a couple more trainers that know their shit. So if you guys know anyone that wants to become involved in this, let me know. Happy to talk with you about it. We'll be building a little sales consulting team to help kind of manage the flow of these guys that are coming in that have some questions or just need a walkthrough through the system. And then just getting more into working directly with sales teams. Again, on our consulting side, that's kind of our main role, is we come in and we are your sales manager in your agency, and we'll help build your producers up to where we want to be. And we work with every one of them on an individual basis. So that's really where I'm starting to transition my time into right now, is working one-on-one with producers, helping them get that prospecting system going, identifying that ideal client.
Kody, is it okay to promote for you? No, Brian, no, it's
Brian,
not.
I don't want anyone knowing me at all. Absolutely, Brian. I appreciate you, man. You and I have been connected for a little bit, dude, and been watching your stuff. And I can just tell, I think we should jump on a call and connect sometime too, man.
You should. Brian's an amazing dude, man. I don't think the guy's missed a winning on Wednesday since he's been in the group. Really, any of our shows, which we run 6. Guys, reminder, we run 6 live podcasts a week. So I freaking, man, Kody, thank you so much for hopping on, bro. I love you. You said it earlier, is that sometimes, man, you'll hop into a conversation and have the total intent of it going this way, and then it goes that. But dude, this was an amazing show. And I think it not only did agents get, something to resonate with, to relate with, to help them grow, but then also here's some tools to implement into your business and agency to help achieve all those things that we kind of started the show with, right? So, dude, thank you so much for hopping on. I really appreciate you guys. Again, we'll drop that link, Lil, if you want to drop it one more time in there. If you guys are interested in checking out PADI and everything that comes with that, or just reach out to Kody. He's super active on Facebook, and definitely let me know if you guys have any questions. But we're very excited to be partnering with y'all. And with that being said, y'all, it is Winning on Wednesday, right? It's Wednesday, which means it's the peak of the week, right? Don't start chasing your Friday, right? Don't start chasing the weekend. Right, it's the peak of the week. Let's really finish the week out strong. And here's what I want to finish with is that you bring value as an advisor. Do not forget that. And I don't care, again, if you're property and casualty, life and health, Medicare. I know we have a bunch of members in here. You bring value as an advisor. Our product brings value, right? But then sometimes our product can be confusing as shit. People just don't really freaking want to know about it. So it's our job, right? It's our responsibility, right, to bring value as the advisor. So I hope you guys crush the rest of the week. Kody, again, thank you, man. And y'all, we'll see you guys next Wednesday for Winning on Wednesday. Take it easy.